Sugar destroys your kidneys, everybody knows that. What not many people know is that there are 7 kidney-destroying habits that are several times worse than sugar and that most people are still doing. Hello, Catherine here. I'm a doctor in natural medicine and a researcher in the field of kidney health. What I want to share with you today are some of the sneakiest, most underrated bad habits when it comes to the diet for kidney disease. A lot of people are still falling for one or more of these, and as a consequence, they are losing their kidney function day by day. Make sure this doesn't happen to you. And don't miss today's number 1 in particular, because that's the fastest way possible to end stage kidney disease. Before we see it, our bad habit number 7 is eating cheese. How is cheese worse than sugar? Many people are afraid of sugar because they know how addictive it can be. But did you know that cheese contains a chemical called casomorphin, which is even more addictive than sugar? This chemical has a similar structure to that of certain narcotics at the point that it can actually trigger the brain's opioid receptors. Eating cheese results in a little hit of dopamine that makes you feel good. This is why you always want more cheese when you eat a small piece of it. Okay, now most people will ask, but sugar will cause me a glucose spike. Isn't that worse than triggering the brain's opioid receptors? Yes, sugar-rich foods can mess your kidneys by causing a spike for a short period of time. But the way cheese can mess your kidneys is a lot worse. Cheese contains protein and also phosphorus, which is probably the most dangerous toxin for people suffering from kidney disease. These two combined will put a huge load on the kidneys of anyone suffering from kidney disease. And while a glucose spike will go away in hours, overloading on protein and phosphorus can cause a permanent increase in the number of kidney-damaging toxins. Up next, another bad habit that's even worse than consuming cheese with CKD. Number 6, avoiding frozen veggies. I still see a lot of people doing this mistake. While some people will tell you to completely avoid packaged foods, including frozen veggies, I'm not of the same advice because they may be a healthy and safe way of adding more veggies to your diet. And guys, there is nothing worse than not eating enough veggies, not even sugar. And I personally eat a lot of frozen veggies because they are extremely healthy and also cheap and easy to prepare. Yeah, don't tell this to anyone. This is going to be our little secret. Frozen veggies have a bad reputation, but reality is that they are just as healthy as fresh veggies. Yes, you heard this right, because you see, unless you buy directly from a farmer, most of the fresh veggies you eat have been picked and ripe. They are then allowed to ripen during transport. This reduces vitamin content. Frozen veggies, on the other hand, are flash frozen often within hours of being picked. This means that they have excellent nutritional properties. According to studies, in fact, frozen veggies have the same amount of most vitamins, sometimes even more than fresh veggies. This is why you always want to keep your fridge stocked with frozen veggies. And this brings us to the next mistake that's worse than eating sugar. Number 5, not reading food labels. I know that many CKD patients prefer to avoid anything packaged altogether, but this is not necessarily the right move. I mean, we have just confirmed that frozen veggies can be very good for you. But what about other packaged, lightly processed foods? Some of them can be healthy as well. One example is soy milk, almond milk, and other milk alternatives. These don't contain animal-based phosphorus, so if there are no dangerous ingredients, they are good. Same for canned legumes. Canned legumes can be a super easy way to make a cheap, easy, and healthy meal. But you see, these packaged foods come with a danger, which is even worse than added sugar. Added salt, especially dangerous when it comes to legumes and other canned veggies. Always make sure you are not buying anything with too much sodium. Last but not least, phosphates. Phosphates are common preservatives, but they can be extremely dangerous for CKD patients. This is why, while you don't need to completely avoid packaged foods, you always have to read the label, even of products you typically buy. Brands are not going to tell you if they change their recipes. Up next, what could be even more dangerous than excess sugar, excess salt, and excess phosphorus? Number 4. Not getting enough calcium. Very often, people with kidney disease are being told to avoid this or that veggies because they contain carbohydrates, sugar, potassium, or maybe oxalate or whatever. But what not many people know about this recommendation is that it will also prevent you from getting many essential nutrients, and that's much worse than getting some sugar. Let's make the example of calcium. Many people don't know this, but some of the most misunderstood veggies out there are also the best sources of calcium for a renal diet. Green leafy vegetables such as spinach, kale, turnip, mustard, and collard greens are an example. Many people avoid them because they have potassium and oxalate. But you know what? Not having enough calcium in your diet can cause a way more immediate and painful danger than dietary potassium. Calcium oxalate stones.
Wait. What?
Yeah, I know it's counterintuitive. I mean, you eat less calcium and you get calcium stones? How is it even possible? Well, the reason is the fact that your bones are actually made out of calcium. And oxalate, which is made in your body by the way, actually needs to bind to calcium for it to be excreted. If there is not enough calcium in your diet, your body will be forced to use calcium from your bones. So if you are thinking about following a diet that's low on these plant-based foods, don't do it. Or at least supplement some calcium. Having kidney stones is way worse than a little bit of sugar. Okay, up next, our number 3. This is even worse than risking kidney stones due to poor dietary choices. Number 3 is confusing natural sugar with added sugar. And guys, this is very dangerous and very common. We are in the top 3 now. Each one of these bad habits could potentially trigger end-stage renal disease for a CKD patient. So pay attention and make sure you have not developed any of these bad habits. Our number 3 is in fact especially sneaky because most influencers on the internet are pushing an agenda that wants you to believe that these and these are the same, because they both contain sugar. But is it true that the sugar from fruit is as bad as the sugar from sweets? Well, what most people don't seem to understand here is that is the dose that makes the poison. Take the example of water. If you drink 8 glasses of water during the day, you will feel pretty good. But if you try to drink 8 gallons of water per day, you would literally get water poisoning, which is life-threatening. Yes, you just turn water into poison. Guys, it's the same with sugar. It's obvious that eating sweet and junk foods regularly is bad for you because they have too much sugar. But what if you consume fruit regularly? Is that bad? No, that's actually good for you, says science, especially for those with diabetes. As we can see here, increasing the fruit intake reduced fasting blood glucose concentration. Now, this comes straight from a large meta-analysis published on the Frontiers journal, alright? Yes, the fact that fruit in moderation is healthy for people with diabetes is not up for debate. It's a proven fact. And this also brings us directly to our number 2. Number 2 is not eating enough carbs with diabetes and CKD. Most people think they should avoid carbs with diabetes, but that's a misconception. Because as we have just seen, eating the right carbs like those from fruit can actually make your fasting blood glucose level better. And do you know why is it possible to improve glucose levels while actually eating sugar? Because, well, there is only one way actually to improve with diabetes: weight loss. So when it comes to type 2 diabetes, weight loss is the only way to improve. And that can only be obtained one way, not by decreasing carb intake, but by decreasing caloric intake. This is why if you need to lose weight, you must focus on those foods that are nutrient dense while being low on calories. And this basically describes fruit and veggies. Yeah, including starchy veggies as well. Now guys, it's also true that people with diabetes but without kidney disease can improve their blood glucose level by avoiding carbs and plant-based foods. But that doesn't work for people with kidney disease. There is not a single case documented in medical literature of a CKD patient getting better without relying on a plant-based diet. It never happened, not even once. Now guys, the reason why I'm telling you this is some of your comments. I've read some of your comments and I got worried. This is one of the comments I'm referring to. What to do for proteinuria when on a carnivore diet? I don't know how to answer this comment. This is just like asking, how can you overcome lung cancer while smoking 2 packs of cigarettes per day? How can you do that? You can't. This person is going to lose their kidneys just because they fell prey of internet misinformation. And guys, this brings us directly to our last entry. The main reason why you can't avoid end-stage renal disease if you are following a carnivore diet with CKD is: number 1, you can't improve without a low-protein diet. Guys, we know that it is possible to stop the decline of your GFR. Even CKD patients in stage 5 can stop and even reverse the decline of their GFR. There are so many documented cases in medical literature of patients who improved that we even have meta-analysis about it. Now, there is one caveat here. As I was saying, this can only be achieved with a low-protein diet, which is a plant-based diet that is relatively high in carbs. Now guys, this diet is extremely effective, especially in the advanced stages of kidney disease. There are people that were able to get out of renal replacement therapy by lowering protein intake. And I've talked recently about a man who was able to overcome renal failure mainly thanks to a low protein diet. And if you want to know more about him, watch my recent video up here and also down in the description. And this is all for today. Thank you for watching. God bless you all. Bye!